This video is looking at the idea of relational skills, and those are the ability to meet one's own needs and those of the group together and successfully navigating the requirements of a task in group dynamics as an individual. This requires a strong sense of self and the ability to have a voice and be heard within that larger group setting. In order to achieve that, the learner needs to firstly use their own knowledge and skills and those of the peer group to the best effect to achieve those outcomes that they need from that task. Secondly, they need to give accurate and useful feedback to peers and know the best way of providing that. They need to challenge and critique feedback from different sources and be discerning of the use of that feedback. And they need to be sensitive to the task and group needs in being able to adapt to their role and adapt to ways of working to suit those different contexts. So good boundary crossing skills are very, very important. The learner needs to take on board alternative perspectives to achieve goals in relation to the requirements of that task, and they also need to ensure that their own needs are met within that group context, in addition to working to support group needs. In order to facilitate that, the educator needs to firstly train students in how to work effectively both within groups and individually, and how to give and receive feedback. That's something that's often neglected in any group tasks that we tend to do in higher education, the training of students to work effectively in groups. Secondly, they need to ensure individual responsibility within those group activities, that students take responsibility for tasks that are allocated to them. Educators need to prepare students to do the preparation in order to be able to engage effectively with the group task or the interactive task. And they need to ensure that peer activities are used in an authentic way, so they're as close as possible to how the student will use group activities and team activities and be involved in those once they graduate and are working either within their discipline or within a similar discipline. The educator needs to make it clear that the process is valuable and that they value the process of getting to the outcome as much as the outcome itself. It's very important to identify to students that the means of producing an output is a really important learning activity, not just the output itself. That's especially important in the current increase in the use of artificial intelligence, in generative AI and large language models. They need to ensure that there are mechanisms for building and supporting team networks within that team-based environment so that students can interact with each other in an effective way. And they need to make sure that students understand and appreciate the impact of peer interactions on their own self-development and their own self-regulation.